Hello, I'm Robin, and welcome to BookSpin. So I've just finished reading Machine Vendetta by Alastair Reynolds. This is a new release. It came out last month. This is a book which I've been waiting for quite a long time. It's the third book in the Prefect Dreyfus Emergency trilogy, the first of which, Aurora Rising, is one of my favourite science fiction novels. So I was really looking forward to this one, and it didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed this book. It's a very thrilling and satisfying read. Now, since this is a new release and it's also a sequel, I'll try and avoid talking about the plot too much. I'll be extra vigilant about mentioning any spoilers. So I think that the best way to describe this book and this series is it's a kind of futuristic thriller which combines a character-driven space opera with elements of police procedural. So in this world, we have a police institution known as Panoply, whose role it is to protect democracy and the voting rights of the citizens of the Glitter Band. And the Glitter Band is this kind of vast array of orbital habitats and communities that orbit the planet Yellowstone. And throughout this narrative, we follow Prefect Tom Dreyfus, who's our POV character, who is an officer who works for Panoply alongside his colleagues. But they're not really like a conventional police force as we know it. They're not out there fighting crimes and solving murder cases. Their whole purpose is to protect and uphold the voting system, which is a kind of advanced, automated, real-time voting system, which every citizen in the Glitter Band has the right to. And people engage through this voting system through the use of brain implants. So that's the background to the world of these books. It's a very interesting piece of world building. It's set in the same universe as the Revelation Space books, and it's actually a prequel to the Revelation Space series. Now, in Machine Vendetta, we get a very exciting and fast-moving plot with a compelling mystery that builds upon some of the narrative threads that were established in the earlier books. And it also rounds off some important character arcs. So I recently reread the first two books so I could have all of this information fresh in my mind. Now, you don't have to do this. It's perfectly easy to read and to follow. Even if you've not read the preceding books at all, I think there's enough basic background information included in the story that even if you're a new reader, you could still enjoy this as a standalone. But that said, I think you will get more out of it if you're already invested in the series, and especially if you spent some time with the characters from the previous books, because I think the characters in these books are especially rich and believable, and you can care about them and you become emotionally invested in them, a lot more so than a lot of other science fiction that I read. So right from the start, you get sucked into an engrossing mystery involving the suspicious death of one of Dreyfus's colleagues, and gradually there's this unfolding conspiracy that emerges and escalates. So you can expect plenty of plot twists, plenty of intrigue and exciting action scenes, and we also explore some recurring sci-fi themes from throughout the series. So things like transhumanism, genetic engineering, and rogue artificial intelligences. The storytelling is pretty tight. It's the shortest book in the series. There's no bloat in here, and I thoroughly enjoyed it throughout. The tension keeps on building up throughout. And by the time I got to the second half, I was totally enthralled. So this perfectly captured what I loved about the first book when I was reading it, Aurora Rising. So I think actually I enjoyed this book, Machine Vendetta, more than the second book, Elysium Fire. And I think that's probably because this third book it's got a more exciting story. The stakes are higher, and it successfully brings the series as a whole to a closure. It feels complete. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I would say it's my favourite read of the year so far. I can highly recommend it. And the series as a whole. So I'm giving Machine Vendetta a score of 5 stars. So that was just a standalone review for Machine Vendetta. I will be doing another book review trio soon. The book I'm reading at the minute is Gateway by Frederick Pohl. I will, in my next book review trio, include Children of Memory, which is the third book in Agent Tchaikovsky's trilogy. So I'm going to choose one more book via the BookSpinner. Okay, so you can see I've got a lot of books on my TBR. There are 83 books in the BookSpinner. Let's see what's going to come up. Spin! So this is Spin by Robert Charles Wilson, a book which I've had on my bookshelf for ages. So I'm glad I'm finally getting around to reading it. This book won the Hugo Award, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. So let's have a quick look at the back. I'm not going to read the blurb because it's quite a lengthy blurb. I'm just going to read a quote from Locus, who say, "Spin is many things: psychological novel, technological thriller, apocalyptic picaresque, cosmological meditation. But it is foremost the first major SF novel of 2005, another triumph for Robert Charles Wilson in a long string of triumphs." So I'm looking forward to this. I've not read Robert Charles Wilson before, so I'm going to add this to my next trio of books, including Children of Memory and Gateway. See you again soon.